Hello, Keith Keller, Melbourne, Australia. I start that every week, every time. I'm going to find a new call sign. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. It's Wednesday, 10 a.m., Anchor Day, and we're having a bit of fun with lots of different topics, and we're repurposing a lot of our favourites. Americo is here from Toronto. It's Tuesday night. How you doing, man?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing well, thanks.
So we're going to talk about what's your favorite social network. Now, this is a live streaming show going live to LinkedIn and YouTube. And we're going to talk about whether or not those two are the best to choose. We're going to also talk about TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and whether or not people are still using X and all these others. If you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. We love comments, and we like to aim for about 100 comments per show. My highest score so far is 300 comments in one show. Pretty proud. And our shows go for hours and hours and hours. And as the song says, the replays go on forever.
Yes, they do.
They do. So we know that people love watching replays. So I'm going to front load the first 5 to 10 minutes so that you know what the show's about. Let's get straight to it. And then if you decide you want to stay or you want to call in or you want to watch it later, that's completely fine. We restream the show to LinkedIn and YouTube. We can, of course, send it also to Facebook and X and Instagram and TikTok. And that's why we're doing this show. We want to find out what is your favorite social network and should we be mixing it up a bit. I love LinkedIn, fundamentally love it. 1 billion users, 1.2 billion users now, 15 million Aussies, 25 million Canadians, and I think the latest stats are 250 million people in the US. Unbelievable. And that's just a little bit of a breakdown of what that is. And if you want to contact me, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to crack 22,000 followers this week. I'm so excited. Yay! And hopefully that'll, mean something. We're also going to talk a little bit about Repurpose 3030. I do Anchor Day on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and I've been running them for about 12 weeks. And I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple of weeks and regroup just to see, and this is my strategy, what worked, what didn't, is it working? And in November, because I'm having October off to just do massive research, go into a cave and hide away. I'm going to come back out in November and I'm going to just basically pull apart everything that worked, some of the new sites that are coming out. I'm really, really, really into this. And if you want to know more about that, go to whereiskeithtoday.com. And that's the 3-minute wrap up. So that gives you an understanding what the show's going to be about. If you do want to call in, please do. We've got lots and lots to discuss. I'll work in the back channel getting some of our guests to come. But, mate, what are your favourite sites? What's working and how do you quantify that? I just love this discussion. I just love the idea that we need to check what's working rather than just sending stuff into the void and letting it go.
Well, it is no secret that LinkedIn is my favorite platform because it works best for me. It's where I've grown the fastest, the quickest, and more authentically, surrounding myself with like-minded people. Runner up, just by sheer numbers, is Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
My business account on Instagram has close to 500 businesses that I follow or follow me back, and it's really about now investing. You asked me what my favorite one is. Today it's LinkedIn, and I think LinkedIn will continue to hold majority shares in my list of priorities. But yesterday we spoke about a new venture that I'm exploring, the road trip and taking virtual events and live events on the road. And I see a tremendous opportunity to grow and maybe invest some additional time in my Instagram, just to grow my presence and connect with new businesses so that they can start engaging and seeing what I'm building on that platform. Now,
Actually, what you're saying there is really important. Like that particular thing about being on the road, very visual. Here I am in such and such. Here's a cafe I stopped at. Here's the view. Here's a cool friend of mine I met up with that I used to go to school with. You know, those real life stories are absolutely purpose built for Instagram.
yes,
That's just where
absolutely.
they live. That's where they live. And it's completely acceptable to take a selfie and a pizza and tell people your story because that's what people want you to do.
Then the in third place, if we were to make this a podium finish, in third place, it would
Yeah,
be YouTube. YouTube, while maybe the largest in terms of audience and potential, I still haven't cracked the YouTube code, and
yeah,
I might never because it's just so large and there's just so much content being squeezed into it every single minute of the day. Um, I try to learn through some YouTube videos, some hacks, some best practices. And for me, it's more about best practices than hacks because I'm not chasing a shiny object or a
yeah,
trend. I just want to show up where my audience and my community is so
yeah.
that they get value in return for the content that I'm putting there.
I love this. Hello, Lachelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. We're having a really good chat today about what is your favorite social network, and we're we're putting it in on two lenses. One is which one do you prefer yourself, and which one gets you the best engagement. Those two things are very different.
Hmm.
Like we've both decided, America and I, that we love LinkedIn. 1 billion users, people are active, they're nice, they're quite polite, and it's a very reasonable conversation to have. YouTube is big but bloody hard. You know, people say YouTube's a thing, but we just can't crack it. You know, I send my stuff to YouTube. 3 people watch it. Bit disheartening. I mean, you know. But what about you? What's your favorite site yourself, and what works best for you?
Okay, so my favorite is Clubhouse, and the one with the most engagement is LinkedIn. Now, I like LinkedIn, but um, I don't know. There's just some kind of issue about Clubhouse being the first with the audio platform
Yeah.
that really just, I don't know, it's just one of my favorite
Let's
things.
pick up on that. Obviously, Bez also likes it. It was never very big in Australia because Australia, a lot of Australians don't have iPhones, and Clubhouse launched with an iPhone only start. And
Mhm.
by the time it got to Android, Twitter had already invented it. They called it Twitter Spaces, which is still going. And I had a Twitter account, and I thought, well, and I've got an Android, so I thought, oh, well, I might as well just go there. I mean, I've got a Twitter account and I've got an Android phone, and it works on Twitter. I'll just go there. It was called Twitter at that time. For about 6 to 12 months, you couldn't use Clubhouse unless you had an iPhone, right? Which
Yeah.
precluded about 80% of Australians and most of the Western world, other than America and the UK. So I had a bit of a sour taste in my mouth about that, but it's still going, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me why you love it.
I think I just got off a room with Clubhouse. It's crazy, but I still do rooms there. Well, now we're doing this writing challenge, so we're there every day.
Mm,
But I do it at least 4 days a week. I find that it is very easy to create content. You're just having a conversation. They have replays that make it nice for you to repurpose the content, um and I just learned so much. I think
right.
because it's a place where people feel safe to share their opinions, and it just allows people to be more vulnerable and transparent. So that's what I appreciate about it. I think the connections are really a lot more intimate, and we focus on hard topics, the things that really help us to move the needle with our personal lives,
Yeah.
whether it's talking about not having boundaries or compromising on your values in business. So we talk about things that are really challenging, to kind of navigate through. So that's one of the things that I appreciate
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I've I never ever embraced Clubhouse for the for the idea that it just never really took off here. And when it went away, it quickly just fell off the cliff. It was hot for about a minute and a half, maybe 9 months, possibly, maybe the whole of 2020, but then it just went away.
Yeah.
And so I think the diehards are still there on Clubhouse, but
Mhm.
I think you would have to have been there from the start.
Yeah, because I've been on it for, it'll be 5 years in January.
Yeah.
So I've been able to curate a community that, we've met off Clubhouse in person, traveled together. So it has, I don't know, it's just still one of my favorite places. So.
Yeah. Well, that's very, very, very interesting. Did you ever embrace it, Americo? Do you know what we're talking about with Clubhouse? Did you embrace the Clubhouse movement?
I I'm not a big fan, simply because it doesn't have a desktop version. Like, if it were an audio only um, offering that was available on desktop as well as mobile, I'd probably embrace it more. But to be on the phone, like if we're on for 2 or 3 hours, imagine us even considering to test this on a mobile device. Could you hold your phone to your ear for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Now,
That
they do have a desktop version. It's called Club Deck. And Club Deck allows you to be on the app, but you can't be on your phone and the desktop at the same time. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it switches over with the accounts. Um, but
Have you
it does have that version.
have you tried it, Lachelle?
Yes, I did try Club Deck. Now it's not owned by Clubhouse or something. I don't know if it's just like a um somebody that is complimenting their services or something. I don't know how it works. So it is a little different, but I don't know. I just put my phone on speaker or I put my headphones on and walk around, but usually I'm sitting down stationary taking notes
Yeah.
for the topics that we're talking about, you know.
Well, let's back up. When you first grabbed it, obviously you've got an iPhone. What was the attraction? Because I never got it. I never took it. I never saw the point. But I'm really interested when it came out, April 2020.
Yeah.
What was the point of it? What did you love about it?
Well, I didn't join until January, so it took me a while because everybody was all hyped about it. And I thought, I don't need another app that's going to suck my time. However, when I did get on there, it was just these intimate, very organic conversations. And so it really took off when people could not go out and they were able to have these conversations, meet people, and continue to build their brand. They learned so much. I mean, it was just really uh, school on overdrive, right? I think also it was the ability to connect with people all over the world and find out the truth about some of the things that might have been, I don't know, propaganda. When we hear all the crazy stuff about, us being sheltered in place and just the stories that could come to mind about how it is in different countries, but then being able to talk to people firsthand and hear what it's like in their part of the world, it just really was a great thing. It was a great bonding
Yeah.
um,
Did you ever
opportunity.
did you ever try that with Twitter Spaces?
Now, I've never, I had a Twitter account and I probably still have it, but I don't know. I just didn't get on Twitter very much. So it never was really something that I focused on.
Yeah, that's interesting because Twitter Spaces, which is still going, this is an amazing story. There's a guy in London, actually in England somewhere in the middle, who created a Spaces dashboard. And because one of the things we were always finding about these types of things is where is there a show on? Can I go to a show? Is there a gig guide? And he created this thing called the Spaces dashboard. You'll just be amazed. And it's still going at any time of day or night. You can go to Spaces dashboard. I'm going to go right now, and there are 1,449 shows right now on Twitter, X. Only 458 of them are in English. 1,449 shows that you can go to right now that are live. 250 of them are in Japanese. 26 of them are in Portuguese, America. So let's pick up on this. Is very, very important. Clubhouse was a thing, still is. April 2020 came out, iPhone only, no desktop. Like two strikes, you're out, right? I couldn't use it. I don't have an iPhone and there's no desktop feature. I mean, it's useless to me. Twitter comes out November 2020, available on Android. I'm on Twitter. I loved it. I was using it. I just jumped on. But I tell you, I threw my phone at the wall. America, I had a Samsung S7. I threw my phone at the wall. I said, this is going to be hard. I'm not doing it because I run shows. I'm not really a participant. Usually I like to be in charge. So I'm running this show. I'm trying to hear people. I'm trying to comment. I'm trying to see who's doing it. I threw the phone at the wall. This is November 2020. Luckily, wifey had a similar experience with something else and broke her phone, and we bought new ones. We bought Samsung S21s in July 2021. Had it not have been for that, I would have given up. To your point, Americo. The idea of being on the phone for that time, it just gave me the shits. Like, it was really hard. Almost impossible to run shows. I bought a tablet for that reason. That's the reason I bought the tablet, because I just couldn't stand the small screen as a host, right? And so that's really fascinating. Did you ever embrace Twitter Spaces, America?
No, Twitter and X never really took off in my wheelhouse.
Didn't see
the 300 character limits. Like, I couldn't say anything in under 500 right. So it never really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And then Spaces, while X Spaces was doing well and vibrant, I just wasn't in that mindset where this was actually a thing. I was that proverbial keyboard warrior, remember?
What promoted you to do LinkedIn? Because I don't know if you know this, Lachelle, but Americo and I met in LinkedIn when LinkedIn Live went away. When LinkedIn Audios went away, we loved them. I loved them. I was doing 3 a week. But
I love the audio stuff for fun. Yeah.
What started you on LinkedIn in that audio format? When did you start that?
I stumbled upon it with a couple of first degree connections that I had made, and started to see content coming through. Hey, I'll be live, and they'd have scheduled events. Like, oh, what's this? So it piqued my curiosity, and I would jump into a couple. It's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is an amazing way to engage, real-time engagement, the ability to jump on stage and contribute. Like, why are people not doing more of this? Like,
yeah. And more importantly, why isn't LinkedIn supporting it? Better not say too much. I've been banned for a few times for saying that. I got banned in January 2024, which is how I found Go Brunch, because I was banned for 4 days. In the middle of a show, they stopped my show. In the middle of a show. I got banned for
What
4.
now? What was the reason? What happened?
They never ever got back to me about that. Never told me why. They what they actually said. This is quite funny. They said, "You are doing so much content, you have to be a robot." I said, "Well, that's sort of
Oh.
like a bit of a reverse compliment in a way. I mean, I'm pretty clever, but I'm not that clever." And he says, "Well, you're doing so much content, you must be a robot because no human could go that fast." I said, "Well, okay. I am not a robot. I am a real person, but geez, you're sort of giving me a reverse compliment by saying, look, I'm able to do so much with 2 hands and one brain, but I am a real person." So they banned me for 4 days, and I never ever got an answer as to why that happened, and it kept happening. And
Wow.
there was a time I was on my like third warning, and they said, if this keeps happening, we are going to ban you forever. And I said, well, I don't think I've done anything wrong. I'm just doing a show. I'm just having fun talking to people. Well, I'm not doing anything wrong. So I had to find an alternative, which was Go Brunch. And that's why
Mm.
I started using Go Brunch in 2024. But luckily, and I predicted this, luckily, LinkedIn audio events went away, and we've got this new version, which I believe is arguably better. But it's fascinating to me, Americo, that you didn't see the point of doing it on LinkedIn or on Twitter, but you got it when it was on LinkedIn because it's more professional, more sensible, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was, truth be told, I was completely oblivious to it. You don't know what you don't know, and I wasn't looking for that audio experience. So, despite it being right in front of me on Twitter, I was just oblivious to the fact that it was an opportunity staring me in the face that I kept
Yeah, yeah. You
dodging.
don't know what you don't know, and as you said, you can't do everything. There's things coming all the time, and you go, "Yeah, well, okay." I don't know if I see the point of that. Like a good example yesterday, Lachelle, Bez, and I, and America were talking about the pro version of Streamyard, right? Which is
Okay.
a competitor to Restream. Now it's about $50 as opposed to $20, but you get more. And he was saying what he does is he goes halves with another person. And I said, well, by the time you've halved that money, you might as well just have your own account because you don't get actually that much more. And it doesn't, what happens if you have a fight or
Right.
you don't want to rely on someone else for your content. Mate, I forgot the password. I'm sorry, I changed the password. I don't like it anymore. Um, Sorry, bye bye. I said, there's all that content there. It's all there.
It's true.
I don't like
Or
relying on other people. So,
take your example. Take your example, for instance, where if you were the account holder and you and I were splitting it, and I was sending you the money for half of it, and you somehow got yourself banned,
Right.
I'm on that account.
yeah,
Here I am paying for something that I can no longer use for something
you
I
didn't do it.
didn't contribute to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
It's very, very important.
hypothesis, it's some people will do it. I know of many people who do something similar with telecommunications and satellite services. You know what? We can split this. We each get a um, a device at our own homes, and we just chalk it up on one account. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
So,
I have the pro version of StreamYard.
how does it differ?
I it has got a lot of updates. I was doing a live today and I thought, oh my goodness, it's like a daggone control center back here.
Yeah.
With all the different things you can set intro and outro, and you can make scenes with different like the different ways that you can have the guests formatted on the screen. You can do banners, you can have screen share. I mean, it's just, and now they
We,
have something called notes or something. Like when
we
you
can
go
add
right in, they
sparkles
try
here.
to update you. Yeah.
Restream's the same. We can add sparkles. We can add
Yeah, it's
sparkles.
it's a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking, if you have people that are on there helping you, I can understand it. But you got the comments, you're trying to move people around, you're trying to bring the conversation to the table. It's just, it can be overwhelming, you know? So I think simple is better, even though I like all the features because they give you, like when I'm done recording, the people can get a copy of of their own stuff, and then I can make clips automatically on my account. So like after the video renders, then I can go in there and it can generate clips that I can post, you know, as a reel. So, that's some of the things that I like. That's helping me with my repurposing, y'all.
Yeah. Um, this. We're doing a whole show about this because the reason I'm inspired by this topic. What is your favorite social network? Hello, Sherilyn. Hello, Anchor. Hello, Scott. Hello, Omar. Jump in if you want to speak. Is that we know that not everyone in the world that needs what we have is on LinkedIn. Not everyone. Some people are on Clubhouse. Some people on Instagram. Some people on TikTok. Some people on Facebook. What I'm really interested in the repurposing game is finding out what's the best bang for my buck. There's only one of me. Well, there's only one of me, and I'm not really a big fan of paying outsourcing people. I do like to do it myself. I do like using AI, but I can't be everywhere for everyone all the time. So by understanding what your favorite is with the sparkles, I think we can get really clever and use our time very, very, very wisely. So if you want to in the comments, why don't you mention, guys, what's your favorite site? The two questions are, what's your favorite site and what site works best for you? Because those two things are not necessarily related. I love SoundCloud, for instance, is my favorite site, but hardly anyone knows about it, although it is very, very good for SEO. I'll talk about this in a minute. So Sherilyn, Anchor, Scott, Omar, Americo, Lachelle, let's put everything in the comments. Get everyone talking.
Yeah.
What's
Now let me ask you this about SoundCloud. Do you have the free account or the paid account?
I have the paid account,
Oh, okay. How much is that?
$16 a month. It's about
Oh, okay.
$160. I want to share a really cool story about this. So I've had SoundCloud for about 15 years because I used to be a musician and I wrote my own songs. But more importantly, I've been a podcaster since 2008. Right? And the reason I discovered Twitter when it was called Twitter, when it was just starting, is that we tried exactly like we're talking about today. We tried every site available that time, 2008. Instagram wasn't there, Snapchat wasn't there, TikTok wasn't there, but we were putting things on YouTube and LinkedIn and all these other sites that have now gone, Google Plus, Periscope. These sites have come and gone. And this is an amazing story, still my one of my favorite stories. I did one tweet after one show, and I got 1,800 downloads overnight from one tweet. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm onto something here. I got to work this out. How did that happen? Can I do it again? And I did it again. And then people started to say, mate, can you come on my show and tell me how you did that? Yep, I can. Can you come into the city and speak at my event? Yep, I can. Can you come to Austria and speak about that? I said, well, I'm not getting on a plane, but I'll zoom in. I spoke in New Zealand. I spoke in Jamaica. I got invited to speak on a cruise ship in Austria. And I thought, okay, I'm onto something here. Just this weird ass guy in the back of his house doing this shit, and and people are noticing. So for me, it's not about throwing mud at the wall. It's about being strategic, surgical in a way, and saying, okay, I'll do it. If it works, I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I'll stop doing it. So Twitter was working really well until 2022, and everyone knows what happened there. I don't have to mention that. It just changed. It changed to a letter of the alphabet. It's a horrible place now. I think it's a horrible place. It's a personal choice. Please don't put me in jail. I'm just saying I think it's a horrible place now. But and it's sort of gone a bit sort of dark and toxic. But what I'm really, really, really interested in now is what sites work for you and what sites are your favorites. So, do you
Hey,
use
here's
SoundCloud? You said, Lachelle?
Say that one more time. I was going to ask you about Twitch because it's one of the options to share
Okay.
this content on. I've heard of Twitch, and my kids are telling me how it's really getting very popular again. So I was curious what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Twitch, there's a
Okay.
couple of those. I just want to decode on SoundCloud a bit. So the SoundCloud, I think it's now 2 hours. This is a very good site, soundcloud.com. You can put 2 hours of content on for free forever, just lives there. And as an MP3 or a wave, and it just lives there. And what I did, I'm very proud of this, is that someone said, look, you seem to know what you're talking about. So can I interview you about this? And we'll make a little 1 hour podcasty thing and we'll break it into 10 bits. I think it was 10 minutes of 10 sites. It was about 100 minutes. And it was called Crack the Twitter Code with Keith Keller. I thought, oh, wow, that sounds pretty cool. Crack the code with Keith Keller. And that was my tagline for a long time. So what I did, because it was less than 2 hours, and that still exists, I'll put it in the show notes. Crack the Code with Keith Keller is now a functioning podcast teaser on SoundCloud. Cost me nothing. What I did was I send that to I did until I stopped using it. I sent it to people to say, look, if you want to work with me about this, or you want me to speak at your event, or you think I'm all right, have a listen to this. And if you think that makes sense, call me back. If you can't be bothered listening to that, or you don't think I know what I'm talking about, don't call me back because I'm already too busy. So it was the fantastic way to get rid of all the tire kickers. Because, a lot of people want to know things until they have to do it. Everyone wants to lose weight until they have to start running around the block. Right? Everyone wants to make money until they have to start working for it. Everyone wants these big goals, but they don't want to do the work. So soundcloud.com/crack the Twitter code is a functioning site that is still there. And I recorded those podcasts in 2014, and they've had hundreds of listens, hundreds. And because I'm doing so much, and I ran out of my 2 hours, I just decided to pay them because I'm being interviewed all the time. I've now got 260 files on SoundCloud. I love it. It's my favorite site. But is it working? Well, no one's heard of it, so it's not working. But I love it, and that's the
Yeah,
yeah.
I was going to say I have a SoundCloud account. So when I was in the very beginning, getting started with doing podcasts and master classes on Facebook, that's when I started with SoundCloud because I didn't know what it was. Anything that I was able to get on without a fee, I was trying because I just wanted to see how it would go. And so I think it's interesting that you said that, but I think it's good for your analytics for Google. When they try to search you, that stuff is still coming up.
Yeah, so that's the link to SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com is the site, and it's just /Keith Keller. I got in so early, I actually got my own name, which I'm pretty excited about. So 260 files there. And the reason I love SoundCloud, and this is very, very, very important, each file allows you to add 600 words about what the show's about, a transcript. Now, that shows up in Google. If you Google my name, it happens here. If you Google my name, SoundCloud is number 3 behind my website and LinkedIn. Extremely good for SEO. Like really, really, really good. So I just keep putting my stuff there and putting a little summary up to 600 words. With a YouTube, it's 800 words because SoundCloud is like YouTube for listening. YouTube is videos, SoundCloud is audio. So they're very similar, except SoundCloud's not as popular. And so let's follow each other, and I'll share some of your stuff too. What do you put there? Do you write songs? Do you do singing, or do you put your podcast there?
I definitely don't do any singing, okay? But my kids, my kids sing. So they had songs on there, but I have podcasts. So like just different little clips and stuff. So yeah, I'll put my SoundCloud
Yeah. And do you put
Yeah.
the transcript in the description?
Haven't done any of that, Keith. So I'm just getting back over here because you're bringing it up.
Yeah. No, this is good. Like, it's very easy to do. You've probably already got a transcript or some sort of decoder for the event. You can have up to 600 words. It's absolutely a no-brainer for SEO.
Yeah.
Have you tried this, Americo? Do you have audios as well? Have you heard of SoundCloud?
I have the free SoundCloud account. You introduced me to SoundCloud, but the one thing that irks me the most with some free accounts, and SoundCloud is one of those, is all the commercials and advertising in between songs and in between content.
Oh, they have ads now.
Yes, yeah. So similar to YouTube, if you're on free version of YouTube, SoundCloud similarly throws commercials in between songs that you're listening to. Well, at least it does in Canada. I don't know if there's any truth behind it, but I hear others tell me that, for instance, YouTube, if you're in the US, free still is ad free. Like, you'd have to be a huge YouTube account to have YouTube try to monetize off of your content.
Yeah.
But the free stuff is for small creators, and no advertising's being inserted in between small creators' content. I don't know if there's any truth behind that, but here in Canada, there's commercials, there's ads in between live, or not live, but YouTube.
Yeah, well, that
videos.
is one of the things that really, really pisses me off about YouTube, which is why I hardly ever use it. The bloody ads. They're insufferable. They're quite literally insufferable. And they're not related. They're not related. And so, but anyway, you've got a question about YouTube. What is that? Tell me about that.
So the question is, so we were asking our audience, share, and I'd love to see those who are here with us live, even those who show up on the replay. If you have best practices, we'd love to hear them. Right? Part of my research has come up time and time again that the key to getting views is an eye-catching thumbnail, and you got to hook them in the first 15 to 20 seconds of your video. Otherwise, you're not going to get the views.
Yeah.
And similar to what the LinkedIn does, like they'll push out your content to a small percentage, and if it doesn't gain traction, then it just fizzles out.
Well, let's pick up on that. Do you know much about this, Lachelle? Do you know much about how to get traction on YouTube? Your daughters are traveling. Do they get some traction on their videos? We got you there, Lachelle. She's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I went into a different screen and I couldn't figure out how to get back to where I was because I was doing the SoundCloud stuff. I think what's coming to mind for me when it comes to YouTube is that it's about community. So if you're able to establish a strong community, then, that's going to be the way that you're going to be able to build that traction. Also, it would be consistency. One of the things that I've been working on incorporating myself is having like a weekly newsletter that's dedicated only to my content on YouTube. So I haven't quite figured out the name of it yet, but just having a weekly newsletter that is all about the content that's on my channel. So taking out like whatever episode that I want to highlight, finding out what are the takeaways or the key points that I want to bring out, and then just making a newsletter around that, and then embedding the video into the newsletter.
Oh, I love that. I just love that. I actually think you're right. I think we're now moving in the 2020s towards a community-based content strategy. Like, rather than trying to find people we don't know that randomly come off and come into our site and go, oh, this guy's clever. Who's he? I think it's much better to say, hey, you know me. I do this every week. If you're free, come along. If not, no worries. Life gets busy, but we're all friends. And when I just love that idea much more than trying to always be constantly just bumping the algorithm to find people we've never heard of that have never heard of us that we're never going to talk to anyway. It's a bit of a hollow game, isn't it? This sort of constant search for new followers. Whereas it's
Yeah.
much
Well, and I
easier.
think, yeah, I was going to say too, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's kind of hard when we're on this platform to see when people are done talking, but um, I was in a training today on YouTube, and a lot of the work on the YouTube platform is about consistently building up, um, loyalty or security in Google recommending you, because they are very conscious of people constantly showing up. So if you're going to do anything on YouTube, uh, less is better, but whatever you do, make sure it's consistent. So, a lot of times there's a lot of people that start out strong, just like going to the gym the beginning of the year, and 3 or 4 months down the road, they fall off. So, Google is used to looking at people in those type of cycles, and they just won't recommend you, right? So, it's all about playing the long game, and you have more ability and stamina to do that when you have community, because you'll never get tired of doing content that your community is interested in hearing about.
Bingo.
So
Yeah.
even if it's like frequently asked questions, or you could take one topic matter, I don't know, let's say the best way to network or something, but instead of just trying to shove all that information into one video, break it down. Today we're going to talk about the number one tip, and then next week talk about the next one. Give them bite-sized things that they can get small wins with, and then they'll be more motivated to keep following you.
Totally agree. I don't know if you know Tim Hughes, um, Lachelle. He's a good mate of mine from London. You'll love this. Yesterday, Tim Hughes in London cracked 600 consecutive interviews on YouTube. I mean, how's that for consistent?
How many videos did you say?
600. 600.
Wow.
Now that's a gold medal standard, isn't it? That's like
Now now wait a minute. What time frame was this?
I don't know. It wouldn't be since he started 2019, maybe.
Okay, because you'll be surprised how many videos I have.
Yeah. So
571.
there it is. Bingo. Well, you are birds of a feather. So
Yeah,
what Tim does, he has this really cool concept called Tim Talks as opposed to TED Talks. It's quite clever. And what he does is he interviews people, and rather than worrying about where he gets the views, he sends it to multiple places, and then he just works out later if it's working. And lately, he hasn't been working it out. He's so busy doing the shows that he hasn't got time to work out if they're working. But he does love doing them, so he sends the file to Facebook and YouTube and X and Blue Sky, I think, and he loves it. He's done 600 of them. So that's consistency 101. And so I would imagine that's the sort of thing you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, if you find what you're passionate about, you just do it. And see, that's the problem that I'm dealing with now, is that, I didn't catalog things. What else can I say? Some of the descriptions aren't optimized, just a number of things, because I was just into following my passion at the time. So now I'm going back, and I feel like I'm doing the work. But I think it's I don't know, to everything it's just about timing. I'm the type of person that I have to follow my passion or energy.
Yeah. I
And
want to pick up on
yeah.
this. I've worked out, and I'll really be interested to know what people do here. I've worked out that my rhythm, my creative rhythm, works in about 12-week cycles. After about 12 weeks, I'm thinking, look, I've done it. I've done it now. Tick. I've proved to myself that I could do it. I did it. Next. And I've got friends of mine who have done a podcast every week for 5 years. Well, I could never do that because I would just get bored. Okay, I've done it. I know the format. The longevity factor is enormous. It's every week. They're really reliable, bloody brilliant. But imagine after how hard it would be to keep going doing the same thing for 5 years. I would just get bored. I'm an Aquarian male, ENFP. I've got a triple dose. Right? So I just get bored. So I've worked out that in order to keep my energy high, I do a 12-week sprint and I'm into it. This is why I'm so passionate about things, because I know it's a short-term sprint. Right? So this format, which is called Anchor Day, ends at the end of September, and we've done about 12 shows, and they're all there on YouTube as a playlist, and they're all sequential, and they've all got their little transcripts, and they'll live there forever. And the replays just live forever. You know, the replays will just live forever on YouTube, and they also live on LinkedIn, but they're bloody hard to find. So from November, I'm starting a new idea called Repurpose 3030, which will go for about 6 or 12 weeks, maybe take me up to Christmas. And I've worked out that's how I keep my energy high. I'd be interested to know, America, how do you do it? How do you keep going on the days where it feels like you're just slogging?
Great question, Keith. I'm gonna couple what Lachelle mentioned. Provided that you are attracting what you're passionate about, you don't even look at time, right? You don't even consider burnout or just dragging your feet. It's like, oh, let's get this over with. It doesn't exist when you're doing something that you enjoy so much. I seldomly put any thought behind it. It just let it happen. And it's a natural progression. When it comes to an end, you know it's coming to an end, because you feel that energy, you feel the air being knocked out of the sails, and things are just winding down. And kind of rely on my gut and intuition to tell me, it's like, all right, it's time to wean off of this and try something different. Time for a pivot.
Sort of organic. I remember 2018, I did this show called Twitter Tips for Tourism, which still exists. It's on SoundCloud. And I remember starting, this is the part 1 of a 10-part series, right? And we were so into it. That about 3 months later, I'm saying, this is part 11 of a 10-part series. We're so into it, we're going to keep going until we run out. And that's exactly what you're talking about. We sort of gave ourselves 10 weeks, but we were so into it. Like, this person went from 600 followers to 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers in 90 days. Like, was such a good show. She said, this is what I'm doing, Keith. I'm in Auckland, New Zealand. I've got 600 followers. I want to get more followers. I want to get more clients. What do we do? All right. And we did homework live on air. So good. Okay, what I want you to do is 1, 2, 3. Do that for a week. Come back next week. How you go? Well, Keith, I'm up to 900. I got 300 followers in 1 week. Can't believe it. We're winning. I should crack 1,000 followers today. Good. Is it translating into actual work? Yeah, this radio announcer at the local radio station wants me to come in next week for an interview. Oh, wow. Okay, so we were able to link the hard work with results. And the final show, part 12 of 10, was called 5,000 Reasons to Smile, because she made 5,000 followers within a 12-week period. Can you believe that? I mean, how cool is that? That is just so cool. And then it naturally finished, right? And she went on her way, and she became a bit of a sort of a goddess in Auckland, New Zealand. We still chat from time to time, but it was the natural rhythm to finish it there, and that still lives on SoundCloud. That's why I love SoundCloud. The replays just go on forever, so it's there. but it was passionate at the time, and it's still relevant when Twitter was called Twitter, and just lovely. How do you maintain your inspiration, Lachelle? How do you do it? Because life is busy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading the book week here. Have
Ah,
you read that?
yes, the 12 week year. Tell us about that. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, so the concept is that if you condense the time frame for your goal, that you'll have a better opportunity of accomplishing it. Because if you take a whole year to do something, you will 9 times out of 10 not even get started. Or you won't finish because you overestimate, oh, I got next month, I've got plenty of time to finish it. And you keep doing that until you're at the final home stretch and you end up giving up. So he talks about how if we find a way to make the timeline shorter and track what we're doing, then we will take on more accountability and look at the consequences of our actions, which will promote us to take more intentional action and get
Wow.
what we need accomplished.
So how does he recommend tracking it? How do we track our goals? This is such a great question.
Yeah, so it's the way you set your goals up are to attach task to your goals. So, like if you said, I want to double my followers on LinkedIn, well, what are the tasks that you're going to do or the behavior that's going to make that possible? So, am I going to do a show once a week? Am I going to do a show and maybe do a newsletter? You decide what those tasks are,
Yeah.
but then you determine also, like, are you going to do this on a weekly basis? Is this going to be a daily thing? And so, because you write your goals that way, then you're able to look at it and say, okay, this week, because part of your time of reflection is to look at what you did the past week and what are you going to do this new week. And so you have that moment to where you could say, okay, I didn't even do what I was supposed to do. Right. And so I
And you
think
got
having
one.
that accountability helps you.
Yeah, I love this.
Hmm.
I just bought myself a new journal. I have heard many, many, many times about this book called The 12 Week Year. I've worked out for me personally my rhythm. And I've been doing this since 2016. My rhythm is that I can get about 5 really major goals done per year, and I like this. I got this idea from Woody Allen, and what I do is I've got 5 major goals. What happened there? Not sure why that happened. I've got 5 major goals that I want to achieve, and I write them down. Right, and each day I look at them and go, which one do I want to work on today? Now I trust myself because it's working. I've done it before, and so, for instance, I wanted to get to 20,000 followers by 25/5/25. Well, I did it. Tick. So I thought, I reckon I can get to 22,000 by 22/10. I'm going to do it by 22/9. Tick. So it's a little bit of a similar strategy, but you're just speeding things up with a 12-week year. It's bloody brilliant. Like I I don't like to put myself under too much pressure because I do suffer from anxiety from time to time, and sometimes you can go too fast, too far, too far, too fast. But the opposite is also the case. You can sit around. So I trust my wisdom there, but this book is quantifying it. I love it, and so my goal now is just to let you know 500 connections at Walmart by the end of September. I'm at 240. 348. Nearly there, nearly there. And I want 22,000 followers by 22/9 now. So I've got the goals in my head and I've got the numbers associated with dates. So every day I wake up and I go, how am I going? 348 connections at Walmart. That's pretty cool. I'm going to get 500 by the end of September because deep in my heart, I'm just going to keep saying this. Deep in my heart, I know that one day someone is going to say, Keith, I get you. And here's some stuff. Zoom said no. Rode said no. Shaw said no. But I reckon Walmart might say yes. I'm just going to go there. If you know anyone at Walmart that's got stuff hanging around, I'm happy to have it. Getting sponsors is probably the hardest thing I've ever done, ever. It's really, really, really hard to get sponsors. I'm doing this show. I love doing the show. People love the show. I just cannot join the dots, right? So that's probably part of my 12-week year. I want to get this show sponsored. I'm working my guts out. I just can't crack it. But I don't mind telling you.
Here's a question, if I can. I found out by accident. I was invited to attend a podcast, and right up until the 11th hour, I was completely oblivious to the fact that I was going to be charged a fee to show up. And, circling back to your sponsorship question, there are creators who are of similar size of your following who now have monetized. Hey, for $25 or $40 a month, I will mention your brand, your product, your value proposition, and we'll showcase you. So you might not get any tangible products to test, but how about trying to re-engineer the sponsorship model?
Yeah, I'm certainly open to suggestions because I'm very proud to say that I've retired now and we've paid off the house. And so I'm doing this for fun. But what I do is when I mention a really cool piece of tech, I have purchased that myself. So I've got some skin in the game because I own it. And so I've pulled it apart and I've worked it out. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to keep married, I can't keep doing that. Because I come home with a new piece of tech and wifey says, how much did that cost? Well, only a couple of $100. Not as much as those shoes. But I need shoes. I've got to look good. Yeah, well, it's not as much as that handbag. I can tell you that for sure. I could have bought 3 of these with the price of that handbag. Yeah, but it's real. It's real leather, and I've got to go out. I've got to look good. So we're constantly fighting about fighting's the strong word. We're very tight, but we're constantly debating. Look, do you really need a new handbag? Well, do you really need a new mic? I do. I really want one. Yeah, well, I really need a new handbag. And I've got to have red shoes to go with my red handbag and black shoes to go with my black handbag. And I've got to have a black dress and a red dress. There's a couple of $1,000. Man, I could have bought my whole studio for that money. Yeah, but you can't wear a mic, Keith. You can't wear a Rodecaster Duo. At least I can wear it and go outside and look good when I'm in public. You're
going to have to get one of those lapel mics.
I'm joking to make a point, but the point is creators have this problem. I've been a creator my whole life, and I've had to do some terrible, terrible jobs to pay the rent. I didn't do anything illegal, but I just hated it. We've all been there. So I'm just putting it out there with the sparkles. Hello, Cheryl Lynn. Thanks for all these great ideas. This is a great question. Cheryl Lynn teaches to focus on 2 platforms at a time, get good at them before focusing on more. Do you agree? What do you think, Lachelle? Do you just do 2, or are you like me, got fingers in many pies?
I have lots of things in many areas, but I would say, I think what happened for me was the pandemic. I had more time to invest in all these different things because, we were at home, all under one roof. There was so much idle time that I had. I didn't have to take kids to school, no extracurricular activities. They all were pretty self sufficient with their studies. So I had that time, but I do recommend.
Oh, we got to the good bit and it dropped out. We got to the good bit and it dropped
Optimize
out.
the things that you're doing. right? And it's like you're not going to end up doing double the work later on. Then you're able to even scale in a way that works for you. So I think it's always good to go slow, because when you go slow in the beginning, you can always pick up speed
I
once you
love
have
this.
the
I
process
love this
down.
idea of scaling.
So
Let's
that's what I would say.
let's pick up on this idea of scaling. You want to pick up on that, Americos? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a great conversation that can be argued or debated from all angles. So if we look at or listen to or follow Gary Vee, who suggests you got to be on at least 7 or 8 platforms at any given time and show up where your audience is. Then there are those where with great merit, hey, you want to get good at 1 or 2 before you expand. Then there's that whole imposter syndrome. Well, how about I perfect it behind the scenes, and then once I get really good at it, and then I go live, I'll go public. And then the the response to that is, hey, how about building in public, which is what I'm doing. I don't have the resources or the time or the funding to, hey, let's get this right before we launch. We're building this in real time. It's me showing up as my authentic self, and my vulnerabilities will sometimes be exposed, but I'm learning together, and my community appreciates what I'm doing for them to understand, hey, this guy is rolling up his sleeves, he's bringing it, and he's helping us while he's learning. He's helping us learn as we go along and follow him.
Well, let's pick up on
So
this.
it can.
I love this, because what you've said there is, we can do all things for all people, but we're really scattering. I think
That's right.
this is a very, very important discussion when it comes to what's working, what's your favorite. And I think Lachelle dropped out. We'll come back to that in a minute. But there she is.
Interview. I'll let you, because I didn't bring my headphones.
You dropped out there for a while. What we're going to talk about now, this is very, very, very important. Who is your ideal client? Is your ideal client on Instagram? Instagram has 3 billion users, but is your client there? TikTok has, 1 billion users, but does your client use it? I mean, I personally don't resonate with TikTok. I'll probably never use it, but maybe my clients are there and I should consider it. I love SoundCloud, but are my clients there? So let's have that discussion with the group and with the community. Who is your ideal client, Americo, for this road trip idea, do you think?
So if we're looking from a generational lens, millennials through to boomers, probably where I would show up well and be able to have robust conversations. In terms of businesses, I would say that I would gravitate to service-based businesses. Now, this could be realtors, mortgage brokers, people who invest in building community, who are in their communities building their businesses from a service perspective. Now, as much of a foodie as I am, I wouldn't turn down someone say, hey, why don't you come on down? I'll comp your meal, and I want you to have a discussion, and I want to showcase my restaurant. I wouldn't turn that down, but that isn't my ideal business that I would want to reach out to. It's not going to pay
your mortgage or put petrol in your car, is it?
Right.
But let's have this discussion. This is the 3 key questions are: 1, who is your ideal client? Where do they hang out? How can you reach them? This is very important. Like, we're going to morph in a minute to Substack. Substack has 50 million people, but mostly 18 to 35. Right? If your clients are 55, they're probably not on Substack. So you probably don't need to learn that. We'll talk about this in a minute because it's a relatively new site and it's thumping it for the right group. What do you think, Lachelle? Who is your ideal client for your show and your ideal community member? Where do they hang out and what sites do they use?
Yeah, I would say I'm a boomer in Generation X, because the things that I work with in terms of mindset and limiting beliefs, there's a lot of, I don't know, generational beliefs that have got a lot of women stuck with their mindset. So that's what I would say they are. And they are on Facebook and they are on LinkedIn. I think one of the things that I'm learning about this ideal client is that they are willing to try new things. They just have to understand the rationale behind the new things. You know, why am I using this?
Yeah.
How is this going to benefit me? So I think that they are flexible, provided that they see that it works out, to switch to any platform that I would
You've
use.
mentioned something very, very powerful there. It's very difficult. Like it's extremely difficult to get someone to move from Facebook to LinkedIn. Like that is a lifetime goal. Like you can talk for days and days and days and days and days, and people will just not do it. I know this because I tried to get people to move from Twitter to LinkedIn. I tried to get people to move from LinkedIn to GoBrunch. I tried to get people to move from GoBrunch to Discord, and I was beating my head against the wall, going hoarse, as it were. Better grab some water. So, do you have that problem too, Americo, getting people to try new sites?
Yes, but one of the reasons I'm seriously considering pulling the plug, and I know you did the same thing for Discord. I think I'm ready to put that rest in peace tombstone over my X account and TikTok. My presence there only points people to where I am most prominent and spend most of my time. But I have yet to have anyone say, "Hey, I found you on X and took you up on your offer. I'm following you now on LinkedIn." Never happened. So I'm thinking of shutting those down, and maybe taking the advice, kind of going against Gary V's 7 to 8 accounts, and leaning towards what Sherilyn suggested. Let's whittle it down. Let's stick to, in this case, may not be 2, but stick to 3, maybe 4, and just build and get better and optimize with the few, because they're working.
Totally agree. I actually totally agree with that. I totally agree with this idea that I actually personally, I don't know, Gary V, I'm sure he won't be offended by this, but I personally disagree with the fact that you have to be everywhere for everyone. I did a whole series of discussions on what we called the dirty or the dangerous dozen, because at that time there was 12. And it's dangerous when you try and do everything for everyone. Like Instagram is not Pinterest. Snapchat is not TikTok. LinkedIn is not Facebook. They are different. And when you use the same language in every different place, it just doesn't work. So you're much better off really narrowing down what people on LinkedIn want and talking to them. Then if you have time, go to Facebook. But people on Facebook hate LinkedIn. People on LinkedIn hate Twitter. They just don't use it. So they're different sites. So unless you've got a team, it's almost impossible to be on all sites at all times.
Yeah, completely agree.
What I might do is I might just grab some water and I'll just get you guys riff for one. If you want, we can play another song. But what I'm really interested in is this idea of what social media sites are working. Sherilyn says Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Can you just riff for a couple of minutes, mate, while I grab some water on this?
I
Instagram,
could.
Facebook, and
And
LinkedIn. Tell us what's working and what you might be doing next.
hey, before we riff on that, hope you're able to listen while you're grabbing a drink. I want to circle back to that club deck and clubhouse and seeing how you and I are experimental or courageous enough to experiment. While we're talking, I pulled up the numbers. Still a 10 million member community on Clubhouse, 56% of which are the 18 to 34 demographic, but 46% are in that 35 to 54 window. So if you're up to downloading Club Deck and giving it a crack, I'm up for experimenting it with you to see who shows up. And if that's not something you're interested in, then all the same, I wouldn't be offended or upset. Now, let's riff on other platforms. I know we're going to talk about Substack, but I got to tell you, I'm really starting to enjoy this whole repurposing, and Substack is one of the places that I will carry over or bring content from LinkedIn, and whether it's taking my transcripts or whether it's creating newsletters, blogs. I'm trying to make sure that my community has a seamless experience, or as what we refer to as that omni-channel experience, where anyone can show up on any platform where I'm present and can consume my content in the form that they prefer. So whether it's through writing, whether it's through video, or whether it's through audio, it all resonates and sounds and reads the same. It's become so much easier to build a content strategy when your message is the same across all platforms.
That's what we call scaling.
Now I know different platforms.
That's what we call scaling.
That's right.
Let's have a chat.
Now some platforms, they prefer that we show up in different formats. That I still have a difficult time wrapping my head around, because my heart still lies in landscape and 16:9, where some platforms prefer and will optimize and push you to a larger audience if you show up in their either 4:5 or 6:19.
9:6, 16:9.
9:16.
We've got a couple of, that was just a great sort of segue, mate. I'm going to do that again. You are the best wingman I've ever had. I got in the water now. I feel human again. The couple of things that came out of that were, do you use Clubhouse and Club Deck? Cheryl Lynn's going, what's Club Deck? So that's one good conversation to have. Do you use Substack? Cheryl Lynn saying, Substack might be my next platform. So you've touched a nerve there. Let's go back to Clubhouse. I'm willing to try it. The most important thing about Clubhouse that you and I have never discussed is that Clubhouse is by far, by probably a factor of 100, the best sounding platform. It's optimized for sound. It only does sound. That's all it does. It only has one. It's a one-trick pony, right? But it's a magnificent trick, right? It's an audio room. That's it. That's all it does. So it sounds amazing. It does work on Android now, but it's really hard to use in your phone. And Club Deck, Cheryl Lynn, is a site that allows you to use Clubhouse on your PC or laptop. Do you want to pick up on how that works a bit, Lachelle? I didn't like it, but maybe I'll try it again. I'm open to trying it again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. We live down in the country, so sometimes it's a little spotty. I'm driving, but it is good for the audio component, and I think because it has that ability, that's what makes people feel more comfortable speaking to you on the app. It feels like you can really connect with people easier on that platform. So that's just what's coming up for me.
Yeah, well, it's still going. It's got about 10 million users, and it was very, very, very big in 2020. Android came in about November 2020, and by then Twitter had already done it. So I was on Twitter. I'm happy to have another go at it. I've got a tablet now, America. We can try it. The sound is very, very, very good. But the challenge that we will find for people that aren't on Clubhouse, and some people have still not even heard of it. Can you believe it? The problem that we'll have is if people aren't on it, we'll have extraordinary difficulty getting them to try it. I know this because we've got history, right? So if we can try it and see if we like it. Bez loves it. Bez would be would be a special guest presenter. He loves it. He uses it every week. He is so into it. So Bez and Lachelle, who live in the same town but have never met yet, good opportunity for Keithy. We can have the special Atlanta edition. We can have the special. Is it the Atlanta Falcons? In the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. The Atlanta Falcons special edition of Clubhouse, brought to you by Supermom Super Bowl. If you're listening, Lachelle, that's a bit of a throwback to you. But please don't call in if you're driving. So we could do that. Club Deck is not actually very good. Like, I've tried it, I don't like it, but I'm actually open to trying it again. We have to be conscious, though, that if people are not there, they're unlikely to join to try it. And that's always the risk with new sites or different sites. Like, people get comfortable on LinkedIn. Well, here I am. Why should I go over there? Come to me. I'm here. Come to me. But I'm here.
Yeah, well, we saw that firsthand when we tested the YouTube only event. We promoted it on LinkedIn, and we wanted to see how many followers would follow us off platform. So you're right. We do have firsthand quantifiable data that supports and suggests that this might flop. So I'm willing to do it without compromising our show sequence that we do, and just do it as a one-off event on a day that we're not hosting our regular programming, just to see how it works.
All right, I'll do a Twitter poll. I'll do a LinkedIn poll about it. Do you still use Clubhouse? Yes, I love it. No, not really. What's Clubhouse? Never did it. Never got it. Never didn't see the point. I love doing those Twitter polls. So that's the first thing that came from that. The second thing that came from that was this idea of Substack. Now, Substack, it's not a new kid. It's been going since 2017, but it's hit what we call early majority. It's got so much momentum now, 50 million users, that people are starting to talk about it. Right? Now, I love this idea of early majority. This is exactly where I sit. Surprisingly, in spite of what I've been saying, I never, ever, ever, ever try things exactly on the day they come out. I wait until there's some sort of wisdom there that says, you know what, this is good. This is worth your time. It could be a waste of time, but I think it's worth trying. And I think we're now at that point with Substack. Substack has reached what we call early majority. There's enough interest in it to justify using it, and I'm going to try it. I've got a Substack account I set up last Monday. It seems to work all right. What do you think of it?
Hey, for a free platform, it offers some robust tools. Like, just the clips that come out of it are on point. They require, up until now, all my clips require 0 editing. They start on time and they end on time, so the message is picked up without having to edit. Creating the ones that aren't automatically generated by the platform, very easy. You just go through your transcript and highlight what you want in your clip, and within seconds you have it. Then there's the versatility to take your transcript and create blogs, newsletters, It is fascinating. I'm enjoying it. I think I have to invest a little more time just to grow that community, because organically might take a little bit of time. But I think with some investment, it has a lot of potential.
What you've said there is really, really, really important. Substack has, in spite of the spelling, really, really, really good repurposing features. Now, what you said, I'm going to debrief on this because we have to pull this apart. There are hundreds of sites that claim that they'll take your long video and make them short. But what happens on most of them is it'll come in halfway through, or it'll end on a key phrase. And you think, hang on. Why stop there? Why stop there? I was just getting into that. Whereas Substack seems to have this uncanny knack of starting when the conversation starts and ending at a natural rhythm. It's genius, isn't it? It's really, really intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think, well, I do think if I compare it to some of the paid platforms that do it, that they're not doing it half as well as Substack. And I don't want to mention to, besmirch any large names who are doing this, but I tell you, Substack, to your point, it just has a natural flow, both in opening and closing the clip.
Yeah, and that in itself is worth trying. So I do have a Substack account. I managed to get my own name, substack.com/@ Keith Keller AU. And it's a very, very good site. From my understanding, it's not very good for SEO, which it does bother me a bit because it's a written format. It doesn't really work on SEO, but I'll work some magic there. You can add audio clips, you can add video clips, you can add text, you can add images. It's a pretty comprehensive site, isn't it?
Yes. To say the least, yes. And the fact that you can plug into YouTube and your other social channels and redistribute from your Substack account, that also saves a lot of time.
It's like a dashboard, is it?
Yes. Yeah. So I have, each time I create or upload one of my shows, it'll automatically take my shorts and publish it on YouTube as a YouTube short.
Man, I love that. Are you trying Substack,
And
Lachelle? Is that one of the ones you're trying, or I know we're loading you up a bit. And please don't mention if you're driving. So I'll wait till you finish driving. But so Substack.com is an amazing site. Now, this is really amazing because Substack is free. Now, Substack makes its money by you charging your followers a small fee, and it takes 10% of whatever you make. So there's no monthly fee with Substack. It's free. It takes 10% of whatever you make as a creator. It obviously wants you to make money because that's how it makes money. So, but it won't cost you any money. So it has robust built-in features to monetize. If that's what you want to do, you can write to your heart's content and get paid. Put petrol in your car and buy a pizza. Maybe even pay the rent. So there's plenty of examples of people making a living doing that.
Well, Robert, who you had on a couple of weeks ago demonstrating his Rode mic, he was on live and he was broadcasting or streaming live to his paid membership. So he has a 2-day workshop that he's doing, and it's only available to his paid community. So the potential is great for anyone who's at a place where they can monetize their content and have a community willing to participate. You don't have to worry about creating a paywall, a lead magnet. Everything's done for you. You create an event, and if you have a paid subscriber list, those people have immediate access to your events.
And how do you propose we actually get paid subscribers? That's a good question. Obviously having good content.
Well, I think it's it comes down to content. It comes down to value, and community. It's like I have a community of 10 members. I don't think if I turned around tomorrow and said, "Hey guys, I love the 10 of you, but I'm going to need you to start paying $8 a month for me to continue this relationship," I would probably wake up the next day to 0 subscribers. Right?
It's
So
not dissimilar to buy me a coffee. Did you ever do that? Buy me a coffee?
no, I've never done buy me a coffee, but very familiar with the buy me a coffee, which is almost, I would say, like an honor system. You show up, it doesn't cost you anything, but if you think you got value and you feel compelled to want to contribute, I'll gladly accept whatever amount you feel is appropriate.
I built my whole studio doing that. Talking about 12-week sprints, I did a show called Buy Me a Coffee Monday. It was Tuesday here, but it was Monday where my clients were, my listeners in the US. So 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, I used to do this show called Buy Me a Coffee Monday. And any Aussie listeners that would think, thinking, well, why are you doing that? Well, that's because most of my listeners were in the US and Canada. And I do these shows exactly like this. And then right at the end, I'd say, look, if you're digging it, why don't you go to buymeacoffeemonday.com? I'm so proud of that. Buymeacoffeemonday.com, which still exists as a functioning website. And just, buy me a coffee. And when you do that, I'll buy a new mic. I don't have to bug my wife about that. I'll just do it with the funds from the show. And I bought a new mic. I bought several mixers from the show. And what happened was I called people out and thanked them for that. And then I bought this mic with proceeds from Buy Me a Coffee. I bought my P4 with the proceeds from Buy Me a Coffee. Buymeacoffeemonday.com. And so basically I was saying, look, I'm doing this show because I love it. And if you think that there's something in it for you and you got something out of it that is worth $5, well, why don't you just give me $5? And if you really dig it, my highest score is 8 coffees in one go with one person. Mate, I got so much value out of that I learned more from this one show than a whole course I did at university this year. And that cost me thousands of dollars. I tell you what, because we're in it, we're in there. Like I taught at a TAFE, a tech college. And the amount of people that have never, ever, ever done it, but claim to teach it is beyond my comprehension. Like I had a professor of social media, didn't have a single social media account. True story. And I'm thinking, how can you teach people to use LinkedIn if you don't use LinkedIn? Oh, well, it's all in the book. What do you mean it's all in the book? Oh, I read a book about how to use LinkedIn, but you're not using it. How do you know if it's true? Oh, it's in the book. I trust them. They've got 20,000 followers, must be working. I had a fierce argument with them about that. I said, look, I just cannot recommend you. If you've never used it, how can you possibly teach it? Well, it's in the book, Keith. Someone else wrote a book and I read the book. Must be working because it sold 100,000 copies. Yeah, but have you tried it? I mean, we've had this discussion on this show. Oh, you've got to have an email list. I'm building my email list. Everyone's got an email list. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I've got an email list too. Have you sent out emails? No, I haven't sent out any emails yet, but I've got a big list. Yeah, well, is it working? Does it do anything? Well, that's what they tell me. I'm just doing what I'm told. It's in the book. I'm going to quote that as it's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the bag. I'm building an email list, and that's what they said. It's a very loose rhyme there. It's in the box. It's in the bag. I'm building an email list because that's what they said. People do what they're told, but they don't test it. Right? So I've had fierce arguments with people about this. Like I had a person try to sell me a car who couldn't drive. And I'm thinking, you've never driven a car. How can you possibly sell me a car? Like, I mean, that's a bit of an extreme example because it's just a car. You know how to drive. You go and drive it. I can tell you what it does and where the buttons are, but I've never driven it. Well, I don't know if I trust you. If you're not doing it, how can you teach me to do it? I'm not teaching you to do it. I'm just selling you a car. Okay. It was a bit of a mini argument there. But If you've never done it, how can you? You can't teach it. You can't. You just can't. You can't learn to drive reading a book about driving in a car park, can you? You got to get in the car and go. I've read a book about driving. I'm pretty good. I reckon I'll pass my exam, but I've never started the car. Let's just let's have a riff about this. Have you ever had an example of where someone's tried to teach you something they've never done?
Well, let's go back to your days when you were a career counselor. All the freshies that come out of university are filled with knowledge, that textbook knowledge, and they need to start somewhere. And organizations give them a chance because they don't have the work experience. They have the academic experience.
Mom, and today I'm answering the question.
Right? So there's a place for that at the entry level job market. But to your point, when you kind of move along, you have to speak from the experience and the passion for the product and the service that you're selling. You can't just hypothesize, hey, this is going to be good based on what others are doing. You have to, if you don't believe in it and you can't immerse yourself in it, then I don't know that I could trust you. I totally agree.
I was doing a show on a site called Blab, which probably no one has heard of, but it was #1 site for about a year and a half, at the same time as Periscope. It was a thumper in 2015, came and went in 1 year, just took off and then fell off a cliff. Blab.io. It was the coolest site I think I've ever used, ever. And I was doing this show with this person who says, oh, look, I came across this new product. It's only $19.95. And if you buy it, I get 10%. Yeah, okay, no worries. What is it? I don't know what it is, but I get 10%. Well, have you ever tried it? No, I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I get 10%, Keith. So if you buy it, I get 10% every time I sell one. Yeah, but have you tried it? No, I haven't tried it. What does it do? I don't know. But I get 10% every time you buy one. Yeah, well, why would I buy one if you can't explain it to me? Oh, I don't need to explain it. I just need you to buy it. We had this, I can't believe it, these affiliate marketers, right? They try and sell things they've never tried. They're just getting a commission. They're just getting a cut.
Yeah, they're just jumping on a trend and trying to sell something that many people are buying, but no one knows the reason why they're buying.
So we're talking about the idea of, have you ever had someone try to sell you something that you've never tried? You and I both have had people coming at us trying to sell us LinkedIn services, and they probably at best know as much as us and probably don't know as much as we know. But I'm not reverse flowing and saying, mate, I'll teach you. One person that we know, both know, who's come on this show, I'm really embarrassed about this. I'll never do this again. She is a LinkedIn trainer, right? And she makes her money from teaching people to use LinkedIn. And I said, you could probably go on my friend Tim's show. I reckon you'd be a good guest for that. What I'll do is I'll introduce you to my friend Tim, who's got a show. He's got 33,000 followers. He's maxed out. Like, you can only have 30,000 connections. He's maxed out. You can have unlimited followers, but you can only have 30,000 connections. I said, I reckon you'd be a good guest for him. So I introduced her to him, and he sent me a pitch slap that she sent him. And I already introduced her as a sort of a guru. And she said, oh, look, I've been chatting to Keith, and I think I can probably get you, I can get you more clients. Oh, you just killed it. He was really angry. Like, he was really angry. He said, mate, I don't want to connect with possible guests who want to sell me stuff. I'm helping them. I'm happy to help her. If she knows what she's talking about, that could be an interesting conversation. But she sent this pre-formatted pitch slap. And he said, look, I've got to be honest, Keith, she's not that good. but I'm happy to help her. But for her to tell me that she could benefit me, well, it's just an insult. Right? And she was pretty good for someone who had like 5,000 followers and just starting, but he's been doing it for 20 years. LinkedIn's been going since 2004. He was probably one of the originals. He gets it. He's written books about it. So it's one of my pet hates is when people try to sell you stuff they've never done. It's one of my pet hates.
Or, it's try to sell you something when the intent was never to sell something. I have a couple of events in my calendar this week, which my gut is telling me someone's going to, one of those two, if not both of meetings, someone's going to try to pitch something to me when the intent is really to get to introduce ourselves and see how I can share my stage with someone else and how we might be able to help one another and not sell something to one another. So my discovery calls, it's clear as day. It's written right in my Calendly description. This is an opportunity for us to introduce ourselves, get to know one another, and it is designed with purpose as a pitch-free conversation. But people are, they overlook that, and they'll book time with me and say, "Hey, how about I have a team of VAs, or I have this particular platform that might help you scale." It's like, man, is nobody reading this?
It is amazing. Lachelle, if you're there, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this idea of, have you ever been pitch slapped by someone who wants to come on the show, and have you had huge debates with people that can't do what they're telling you? But more importantly, I really, really, really want to push ahead with a Club Deck Atlanta edition, because both Bez and Lachelle live in Atlanta, and you both love Club Deck. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Now
Clubhouse.
I don't know about Club Deck. I like Clubhouse.
Yeah, and Bez loves it.
Yeah, I haven't really been on the desktop a lot, but I would love to. Count me in. I'm all for it. So that
Yeah.
would be great.
So we'll do the Clubhouse special edition with Bez and Lachelle. I think you're the only two people that I know that use it, but you both love it. So I'm open to talking about it. But I would have to set up an account from scratch. And
Okay.
I know for sure that I would have enormous trouble getting my community to come there. So there'd have to be like an inbuilt community I would break into.
Oh
But we
yeah, definitely. I mean, Bez has a very good community with the Rotary, as well as he works with the Amigos. That's a Latin community that's over there. I have a community. My community is the Elephant Strategy House. So yeah, we've got several different communities that we could work into. So that's
yeah,
not an
that's
issue.
good. Have you ever come across people trying to sell you stuff they've never done?
Yeah, I believe that when you ask better questions, you find out that. I used to be the type that people could tell me what I want to hear, and I would fall hook, line, and sinker. And then we get into the arrangement, and I find out that they are not as knowledgeable as they led on to be. But, I didn't ask the right questions either. But now I have learned to um what's the word I want to say, just be able to have more self-control,
Mm.
where I'm not as emotional, and I can take that time to ask better questions that gives me more insight if I need to go with somebody. So like, for example, now I have people who are always reaching out to me about my YouTube. They want to help me get monetized. They want to get my viewership up. And, I'm just not interested in a short term gain. I've been doing these videos over some years, and it's just not worth it to get a whole bunch of bots or fake accounts following me, and then that's going to be even more work. So I think it has a lot to do with, as we really grow within our business, we get tired of certain things. I'm like, I don't like starting over if I don't want to. Right now, if I know that, hey, this I built this on the wrong foundation, I need to totally scrap it and start from scratch. That's something different. But if you've done the work on a lot of things, and I've just learned to be patient, and say that this work is not for naught. I'm gonna figure out a way to repurpose it or do something, and I'm patient about that. I don't feel that I have to be ready to do that tomorrow.
You mentioned a really interesting concept before called scaling, which is something a lot of people don't understand. How do you go from a big following on one site without that pain of starting again on a new one? How do you scale one into the other? This is a really quite difficult conversation, but like I had a big following on Twitter, 58,000 followers. 58. I was in the top 100 Twitter users in the world. I was so
Hmm.
excited. Like I was really into it. I got paid to speak at conferences about it. Then I had to send people to LinkedIn. It was enormously difficult to get. Some people still refuse to come. Of the 58,000 followers I had on Twitter, I've got about 22,000 of them to come over. Right? Round figures. So about a third. I lost 2/3 of my audience. But luckily, 22,000 is a bit of a number, so I can live with that. But if I started on Clubhouse or Substack or TikTok, I mean, I'm starting again. It's really quite a sort of a pain point, a bit of a niggle in the belly.
Yeah.
How do you scale? How do you move from one thing you've done well and start something new and keep it moving as another channel? I think this is a good idea, a good discussion to have. How do you scale?
Yeah. For me, it is showing up as yourself, because each platform has a different personality or culture. I don't know how the best way to describe it, but you alluded to it earlier when you said that, you might have someone who is a diehard Facebook person. They're just not going to go over to LinkedIn. However, if you have the ability to be on different platforms but still be yourself, the key is to get everybody off of the platforms
Mm,
and into your certain space.
yeah.
Once you're able to do that more times than not, then they will follow you on different platforms. So, but it's something you have to be strategic about, and you have to make it easy. So if someone is switching over, you're inviting them to an event or something, um, you have to be very intentional. What's your follow up going to be? What is the presentation going to be like? What's their experience going to be? How much prep do you need to give them to understand? Like, if people have a lot of challenges, they're not going to want to go somewhere. If they don't know how to unmic, or they don't know how to use the platform. So a lot of these things we have to take into consideration, and for other people, you have to make it fun, because, content is a job, but it's a job that not everybody wants. So when you are interacting with your audience, you have to make them feel that it's more fun than work.
Fun. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this discussion. It's one I talk about a lot. And this is one reason I never embraced Substack. I just sorry, couldn't never embrace Clubhouse. I just couldn't bear the idea of building from scratch again. I just couldn't bear it. I just had a moral objection to it. What about you, Americo? How do you scale if you're going well on one hand and you've got a bit of time up your sleeve? How do you move on to another side and build it? It's a great question.
Well, I think it's important that understand if whether or not your audience is present where you're trying to scale, and if they are, to make sure that you're offering the same level of relevance that has gotten you success where you're more prominent. Because starting from scratch doesn't mean you have to reinvent your persona and try to be something that you weren't on a different platform. Come as yourself, come as you are, and bring the same tone, vibe, and energy, and try not to fit in. And the perfect example, if I look at my TikTok, I am not going to lower my standards to try to appease the TikTok algorithm and the TikTok community. I'm coming as myself, and it's almost a carbon copy, and it probably the reason why I can't grow or scale on a platform like TikTok, because my audience isn't there, or not enough of my audience is there, and I'm not willing or prepared to lower my standards of my content or how I show up bouncing around and taking selfies and so forth. It just doesn't work. So it's important that if you're going to scale, know where your audience is and don't compromise who you are to fit in other platforms.
I love this. I love this because we do sometimes have a little bit of spare capacity and we want to try things. So at the moment, for instance, and this is a very, very, very cool hack, I'm really in love with Google Notebook. Like I'm really into radio, and there's this Google Notebook format that allows me to take summaries of what we're talking about and have a guy and a girl talking about it as if they were talking on the morning show. Right? That makes complete sense to me. So I don't know if my audience is there, but sort of SoundCloud allows me to put, and I did this today, I put a 10-minute clip of a 4-hour show on SoundCloud with the highlights of what we talked about or what we're likely to talk about if it's coming up, with a graphic and the text, the transcript. Now, that's something I can send to someone and say, this is what the show is going to be about, or this is the essence of what we talked about. It's not me talking, but it's a bit of a guide to it. So scaling is a matter of doing something somewhat similar in a different format, just to pick up a slightly different audience and to keep building. Because I don't think anyone, well, some people do, but I don't think most people want to just hang out on one site their whole life. I mean, I know people who think that Facebook is the internet. Like, that's it. That's all there is. Facebook is the internet. There's nothing else. What else is there? What else could there be? I've had serious arguments with people that says, oh, I've never heard of LinkedIn. No, I'm not using Twitter. Oh, I don't use YouTube. I use Facebook. Facebook has 3 billion users. That's enough for me. I get it, but I'm a bit more broad than that. I want to sometimes hang out on LinkedIn. I don't mind watching YouTube videos. I like listening to things on SoundCloud. I want to experiment with Suno. I'm now currently deciding if I want to embrace Substack, because I think it's got some value. Did we have that chat about that, Lachelle? Have you tried Substack? Are you ready for it? Is it another thing too hard to do?
Now, I have not tried the Substack. You guys have been mentioning it, and I think, people have sent me stuff about it where you can actually get on there, right? Without actually hosting a account or something like that. Is
I
that
don't know.
possible?
What do you think, America? Is that the case? I've been asking this question myself. Do you have to have a Substack account to read other people's Substack posts?
Well, we can test this in real time. I dropped my Substack account in the chat. Lachelle, if you click the link, we will be able to answer the question and share with our community.
Yeah. I actually have a Substack article called What is Substack? I love doing that. Very meta. The original meaning of meta, not the company. What is Substack? And if you don't have a Substack account, you probably won't be able to access that post. It's a very good post. It details exactly what it is and why you would possibly want to use it. Yeah. So, I'm a bit. I don't know the answer to that question. If anyone's listening and they have a Substack account, do you have to have a Substack account to read other people's Substacks accounts? That would sort of defeat the purpose in a way. But that's let's just see. So it currently has about 50 million users, mostly 18 to 38, but it's growing, and it's growing at a rapid rate. And I think it's one of the ones, like Blab was and Periscope, that it's sort of reached a sort of a critical mass, and that's what interests me. I've sent this to you as a DM. You're probably in the car, so you probably can't read this, but if we can read Substack accounts or blogs, then without having a Substack account, then it has a lot of merit, because a lot of people haven't yet got an account, and then they're lost to it. They're not going to set up an account just to read a blog, are they? We'll just see.
Okay, when I went to it, this is if you want to subscribe to your account, I believe.
Mm.
Like if I want to subscribe to Americo's Substack, then you have it set up where people can pledge to support.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's pretty neat.
yeah, that is everyone's default. So I shared my profile, and by virtue of clicking that link, that is the first question. I posed the same question when I was invited to join someone else's account. You're asked if you want to pledge. So essentially, it's asking, do you want to pay to be on his Substack? Do you want to be a paid subscriber or not? So my gut is telling me when you click that, you don't automatically go directly to my posts, my blogs, and my content.
Right.
You were stopped, right? So if you'd have to accept my invite to join, which probably would allow you to then access and not have a membership. Curious.
Yeah, now let me ask you this. Do they get the people, if they subscribed or not, do they get access to the same information? Or are you able to um segment it?
That's right. That's the point.
You
Yeah.
you you can segment it. You can have content for your non-paid subscribers, and have separate content and events that are behind the paywall that Substack provides.
That's the whole idea of it. So
Now let me ask you,
Yeah,
this is good. One other question. So how do you get people to get to your Substack? So like, is this like after you've met them for a while? Because I'm just thinking, if I go to your Substack and I don't know you very well, what would prompt me to be a subscriber? Or do you wait until later in your relationship, your nurturing process, before you give them your Substack?
So part of my repurposing, I'm using Substack. I'll take my shows, my newsletters, my blogs, and anything that I put on LinkedIn, I'll repurpose it in some format on Substack. Now, in terms of growing organically, what I'm uploading has to resonate with someone. And if they like what I'm dropping on Substack, they will automatically subscribe. Or I can nurture it and build a community, do some outreach, and follow people. Similar to what we do here, I'm recognizing a lot of LinkedIn community members have migrated and have a footprint on Substack already. So I'll get recommended to a lot of people who are on my contact list. But I purposely, at this moment, I'm not accepting or chasing, because if I'm simply moving the same people from one end to another, that might defeat the purpose or my goal. I'm trying to widen my reach and my visibility. So trying to see what I can do organically to get members and viewers and community that is different than what's already on LinkedIn.
Now, so, and then my last question, I have a lot of questions now, y'all.
That's fine. I think this
How
is
did,
what the
what,
Keith shows are all
yeah,
about.
what kind of metrics do they give you? So I'm seeing that it says you've got the number of reads on here, you've got likes and posts and other activities. So is there some kind of back end to
Yeah,
your,
there is. I'll tell you, I know quite a lot about this. So there's
okay.
you get an email for each individual post to say, hey, here are the stats for your latest blog post. 68 people read it. 16 of them are paid subscribers. 18 of them have just joined, and 16 of them just randomly came across it. Here's where they came from. LinkedIn, 16%, YouTube, 8%, people on Substack, 80%, right? So it tells you where they came from, who read it, and what status they have. It's genius. Like, it's genius. It's really comprehensive. And you get that as an email once a day on your most recent post. So the way I'm using it, and I'm really interested in how this plays out. I do these shows that go for 4 hours, and people say, "Oh, mate, can't you give me some sort of highlights?" So what I'm doing specifically is I'm creating posts on Substack that will give people the highlights. That's why they would go there. That's the only place they can get them, right? And I'll do that like for each show. A link to the show, a link to the replay, and the highlights in a text format, maybe even a replay as an audio. And that's the only place they're going to be. So if people want a replay, I'm going to send them to this link now. And if they really want the replay, they have to go there to get it. And eventually, I don't know if this will ever happen, but eventually that might even become an opportunity to get paid. The show is free, but if you want me to digest what happened and put it into a nice little document that you just have to click and go, well, then that's taken me some time. And maybe you should pay me $1 a week for that. I don't know. I haven't decided on that, but I've got an article ready to go called "What is your favorite social network?" It links to the show, and it links everything we talked about. I reckon that's worth signing up for.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
So I've got a very specific strategy. And then if I go to my dashboard, which is one of the buttons, it'll tell me that particular post, I've got 17 subscribers and I've had 500 views in the last 30 days, and my views are up 51% because, I've just started. And if I go to any one of my posts, it'll tell me exactly how many people viewed it, how many people opened it, and how many of those are subscribers. So that one, what's your favorite social network? 57% of the people that went to that site opened it, and it's had 40 views so far. Now I just wrote that last week, so that's not bad. And so then a little bit like repurposing, one site called What is Substack has had 54 views, and 71% of people opened it. And as a result, I got one new subscriber. So it's very comprehensive. It's really good. Have you been experimenting with the stats component, Americo? Because we're all about stats, aren't we?
Yeah, we are all about stats. And I was really excited. The first few articles I dropped, the open rate was through the roof. And that I knew that would settle in as I populated more. But hey, I'm sitting currently at 25% open rate. And the views are great. And you touched on something that one of my guests yesterday does currently. Heather Black was a guest on a new event that I dropped coming soon that allows members to share the stage and create a form of like a movie trailer, a preview of their upcoming events, because there are a lot of events that get put behind paywalls and get put behind subscription walls. And some people are reluctant. Hey, I don't know what value I'm getting out of it other than this written post. Hey, join this event. So I did a 10-minute bit saying, all right, Heather, why do people tell us about your event? Tell us when it's happening and why should people show up? So we did a 10-minute thing and it was great. And in those 10 minutes, she shared with me, hey, this event is free. If you register, it's 90 minutes and here's what you're going to get. If you're sitting on the fence and you don't know if it's for you, no worries. You can get the replay. However, the replay you have to pay for. So she's monetizing the replays.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
clever.
You're
That
now
is
the
clever.
second person
Isn't
to
it
say
clever?
that.
You know,
That's awesome. That's a really
I-
good idea. I'm over here opening my account.
So I want to share this story because we've been around the block a few times. In January of 2012, I'm so excited about this story. It still resonates even now. In January of 2012, someone came to me and said, "Look, we're going to run this event, which is going to be called the Motivation Marathon. Every day for 47 days, we're going to have 3 speakers from around the world talking." Right. And the basic premise was, if you come to the event on the day, it's completely free. But if you want the replay of those events packaged in a nice little way, well, then we're going to charge for that. Right. So I spoke about Twitter, January 2012. I spoke well, and then 2 other people spoke that day. And on the 47 days, there was whatever that is, 47 times 3, 91. That's not bad. I did that right there. 91 people spoke, 91 pieces of content. If you want everything that was spoken about at the conference, 1995. If you just want the stuff about social media, there's 10 of them. That's $9.95. If you just want the stuff about health and wellness, well, there's 10 of them. That's $9.95. So they were selling packages of clusters of social media, health and wellness, and the whole thing. And there was obviously about 9 or 10 different subsections. Now, I don't know how much money they make because they never gave me any, but I don't think it actually paid them that much. But the idea was, if you went to the event on the day, it was free. Then, if you wanted to come back to it, it was paid. And I think that's a model we can work with. This show is always free, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. twice a week on LinkedIn. Come if you can, join in. It's a lot of fun. But if you want me to go to the trouble of creating highlights and creating a blog where you can just click a button at your convenience and come anytime, well, that probably should be a product. I reckon it should be a product. Why would I do it otherwise? I could be out with my wife or watching the Dolphins or go out and mow the lawn, or I could be at a cafe. Why would I be spending my time editing all my content online? Why would I do that? I mean, it's not a pleasant task. It's not fun. So I think we might be onto something here. That might be a use case for Substack. What do you think?
It is definitely a use case for Substack. We'd have to, anyone, and not just we, but anyone who's considering it, you'd have to then block or delete those assets on your other platforms that you're multi-streaming to. So you'd have to create a paywall for your YouTube with a similar offering that's on Substack and remove your events, because LinkedIn won't allow us to put it behind a paywall. So we'd have to stream live, then save those streams and remove them from LinkedIn.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily have to remove them. I mean, my wife is learning guitar. Now, if you wanted to, you could start as a beginner if you were patient enough, and you could find every single conceivable lesson about learning guitar online on YouTube. But it's a lot of work and it's very haphazard. What she does, she pays $15 a month every month since November 2020. And the guy says, okay, here's your next lesson. We're going to teach you the F chord. This is a hard one. It's going to take you a few weeks, but just practice it every day for 10 minutes. Here's this. Try this. Very sequential, very logical, very linear. Now, she could probably find a Google video on how to learn the F chord. We might just Google that now. There'd be hundreds of videos about that. But you've got to find them. Then they're sort of very higgledy-piggledy, right? People will pay for convenience. If you send me a link and it's all there in one line, that's why I pay for BritBox.com. I watch a show, I click stop, I come back the next day, the next one's lined up. I push go, I watch it, I push stop. I come back the next day, the next one's lined up. I don't have to go and find it. I don't have to. It's $10 a month, right? It's $10 a month. I don't have to go and find it. I don't have to watch the ads. I don't have to. You try finding stuff on YouTube when you're in a hurry. It's bloody hard. And there's lots of ads and there's lots of rubbish and there's lots of irrelevant things. So people will pay for convenience. They will. They'll pay for the idea that it's all in one place and you want to hang out with people that want to pay you. And if they happen to come across it on LinkedIn, well, good on them. This guy, and this is my superhero. This guy is my hero. He actually has a YouTube channel where he teaches a lot of this stuff, but he also charges $15 a month, and 10,000 people pay him every month. $100 a year or $15 a month. 10,000 users, 10,000 paid users. Now I could live on that. You don't have to do the math in your head. 10,000 people times $15. I mean, I could live on that. That's pretty good. He's done all the work. All those videos are there in a line. They're all very sequential. And you get the ease of knowing that that's all done for you. That's sort of the Substack model we could play with, if you like. What do you think, Lachelle? Have I put some ideas there for you?
Yeah, that really. I'm now creating my account. I'm working on my. This is one of the things that I enjoy about spaces that we have is when you learn things in real time, just take action then, and it's not so overwhelming, right? Because, as you're going through setting it up, you're sharing strategy and things that can get you started to overcome some of the initial hurdles when it comes to doing different things. So, um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm over here getting my account set up. That whole thing about the replays, I think, is really powerful because this is just like directing them somewhere. And now you can put any content onto Substack. That's my question.
Yeah. So what Substack, it started in 2017 only for writers. So you can only write words up until very recently. But then they said, well, why don't we add videos? So you can add text up to 800 words. I think it's 800 words. You can add video. You can add audio. You can add images. They even have, and this is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen, they actually have an inbuilt AI image generator. So if you don't have an image that speaks about what you spoke about today, you can create it using AI on the site. It's cool. Like, it's so cool. So it's got everything. It's inbuilt. Everything's inbuilt.
So who is this owned by?
Oh, it's its own. It's not owned by anyone. They started it.
Oh,
So whoever owns it hasn't yet been bought out. It's an independent, and it won't last long. I mean, just hearing what we're saying, it's probably going to get bought out by Google or maybe Microsoft. Because Google had a blogging platform called Blogger. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It was horrible.
no, I've never heard of that.
Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, Google had a few feeds that they turned off. There's another one that they turned off a couple of years ago. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
So Google had a blogging platform called Blogger. It was ugly. Really, 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 really hard to make it look good. It was pretty good because it was owned by Google, so you would get SEO. But it was really ugly. Really ugly. So there's another site called Tumblr. I don't know if you've heard of Tumblr, Lachelle.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. I've just never used it.
So Tumblr, really easy to use, looks fantastic, still going, has about 130 million users, still going.
Mm.
It's really good, easy to use, and it's a little bit like, WordPress meets Instagram. It's fun and funky, and there's not much substance there. Not many people write things. They usually just post things, but it is technically a blog. So my gut feeling is that Google might someone will buy them because they're a standalone entity that is so awesome. You know what happens? That's not going to last long. Someone's going to snap them up. Microsoft might buy them. Google might buy them. Apple typically doesn't buy things, but Elon Musk might buy them when he hits $1 trillion. He might. I hope that doesn't happen. But Elon Musk might buy it. But someone will buy it. But at the moment, it's got about 50 million users. And the thing that's great is it'll never cost us money because they make money by taking 10% of what we make. That's their model. It'll never have ads. Well, from what I can tell, it'll never have ads. And when you make money, they make money. And if you're not making money, it'll cost you nothing forever. Bloody brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, this is good stuff.
And
I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning tonight. This is good.
And this is
Now here's something
Yeah, please.
fascinating. When you're posting, are you posting written only and dropping a hyperlink, or are you dropping the video?
Geez, that's a good question. So with the audios, I've decided to actually add the audio as a WAV file, which comes up in a really lovely bar, a little lovely player. But what I've decided to do is I've decided to hyperlink to the YouTube video, or hyperlink to the LinkedIn video. But there's no reason why you couldn't download the video to mention how big it'd be, and then that would actually be a bit cumbersome. But what
Yes.
I've done is I've done a couple of Google Notebook video summaries, which actually look quite good, and I've included those. What do you do, or what would you do?
Well, it's fascinating because I know you shared a screenshot on via DM, and the first thing that instantly popped into my mind is Keith is the audio guy, so what does he do? And that prompted the question, because for myself, I'll upload the entire episode, but I'm thinking, hey, if this platform originated as a writers and readers platform, I might be doing myself a disservice by uploading the video. So my next round of uploads, I'm going to make or include audio only. I'll strip the audio from my shows and upload the audio and do the hyperlink and compare the engagement and the visibility and the reaction.
Yeah. Well, our friend Tim, who's got 600 shows, he says that his greatest joy is knowing that people are benefiting from his shows. He gets a lot of personal satisfaction in knowing that he does these shows and people watch it and that they learn something. Right? So if we create a Substack technique where there's the possibility of watching a video or listening to the audio or reading the transcript, then for all those that can't come to the show, which is probably most people, they still have something. Right? They don't get everything. There's nothing like being there live. You can't replicate that. But if you can give them an audio summary or a transcript or a video replay, they at least get a bit of a sense of what they could get if they came live, because that's what I want them to do. But if they can't come live, they can still watch the video on the train or, at night if there's nothing on TV. So we're giving them something. And I just love that. I just love that idea that it doesn't actually take that long. It's pretty quick. It's pretty intuitive. And I'm just using the transcript that I've already got from the show. I'm just using a hyperlink to the show. So it actually only takes me about 10 minutes to make them. And then this is exactly what we're talking about. We've got another piece of content for another audience.
And I'm sure at some point it may not be optimized for SEO, but at the pace that it's growing, I'm sure it won't be long before, whether it's through acquisition or just through, you know, just natural growth and progression within the Substack ecosystem, that it will be something that will start getting crawled and optimized for SEO.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? You can add some hyperlinks, and I'm a bit surprised it isn't going that well for SEO, because it's mainly words. It's very, very good, and this is actually why I love doing this show. I love doing it because I learn things, and we get to play out what we're learning and put it in context. So today's show is already on Substack with a link to the with a link already to the LinkedIn show. But what I will do is I'm going to actually put a hyperlink to the YouTube show with a repurposed AI generated YouTube image, and it's fun to use. That's the point. It's fun to use. It's no trouble. It's not troublesome. It's not burdensome. So even if half a dozen people benefit and become followers or friends, that it's got to work. I love it. But with that in mind, we've been going about 2.5 hours. If there's anyone on the call that wants to come in, might give a final warning. I'm getting a bit hungry, a bit tired. I've had a big week. And these shows are completely free form. Like, they just go on and on forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Naughty song, the song from the Naughties, the time zone from 2001 to 2009. And we've chatted a lot about AI. I'm going to posit a theory here that Suno does three things. One is it downloads the history of recorded music, which creates quite a lot of ethical dilemmas. Two, I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, it sucks out all of the lyrics from, because there's an app that can do that, takes out all the lyrics of all the songs and has the pure music. And three, it then locks all of those musical styles behind keywords. And the skill, which I'm proud to say I possess now, it means that you have to find the keywords to get those songs out. And then it plays your words over this other pre-recorded piece of music. The reason I say this is in the middle bit of this song I'm going to play, there's a little bit of a murmur of a song I think I recognize. And it's very low. They couldn't get rid of the lyrics. This is why I had this epiphany. I'm going to play this. I really want to have a chat about this idea. So this is the version that was created to simulate the Naughties period. I'm not going to tell you who it's based on because it's so accurate that I'm just really scared about the copyright component. So I'm having fun with this from the point of view that it's fun. I'm not making money out of this. I'm not pretending that I wrote it. I didn't write it. But have a listen to this and then have a listen to the middle bit. I'll point it out to you. And this is why I think that they're actually sucking the lyrics out of all these existing songs. Hang on, listen to this.
Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together. Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together.
Sorry.
Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together. And the replays just go on forever. Just go on forever. The live streaming tech is ready. The mic and studio are set. The audience is here and can't wait. It's a show they will never forget. Hearts are racing. This is the moment, the one we've been waiting for. Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the
Listen to this. Listen to this. This is really important. I think it's coming up now. Whoops. Next.
The choices online and events, social authority rising, the engagement intense. Followers keep moving, your network expands. We're chasing awareness, we're closing.
Here it is. Here it is. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is classic. What did she say? What did she say?
Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together, and the replays just go on forever. Events are the spark, audience the fuel you crave. They said it would never work, now you wanna go live again. You no longer fade, you no longer hide. You're born to ignite, you're the energy burning bright. Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together, and the replays just go on forever. Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Online events bring the world together, and the replays just go on forever. Just go on forever.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's enough. Did you hear that, Americo? Did you hear that sort of inaudible garble?
Yes.
Did you hear that, Lachelle?
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
So after the second chorus, there was this sort of and I think I worked it out. That actually reminds me of another song.
Was that what triggered
That's right.
it for you?
I heard that. So there is a bit of tech that allows you to take a song on the radio and suck the words out, and then you can take that recording and then you can go and play it at karaoke. Right? There's already tech for that. So it takes a song that you love and it takes the words out so that you don't have to sing those words. You can sing your own version. That saves you having to record it all yourself. So, but right there at that point, they couldn't do it. And I'm thinking, I know exactly how they're doing this. One, this is where the ethics thing come in. They've downloaded every recording ever recorded, and they put it into this big supercomputer. I'm just trying to work out how they did this. They've sucked out all the lyrics so that you can put your own lyrics on the top, and then they've created keywords around that. 80s band, keyboard player, snappy snare, harmony vocals, long solo, things like this, just musical words. And the secret and the trick, like there's going to be people making buckets of money out of this, is to say, okay, well, I want a song that sounds a little bit like Belinda Carlisle singing a Nancy Sinatra song with the trumpet solo and Buddy Rich playing on the drums. Right? I could do that. I know how to do it, but should I? I know how to do that now. And so if someone came to me with that configuration, it's like a recipe, because Can I have a little bit of 90s, but can I have a little bit of that 80s guitar? And can it be a bit of one of those hair bands? Can it sound a bit like Poison? But can we have a little bit of Alice Cooper and imagine it being sung by Britney Spears when she does a support act for Beyonce? Oh, okay. I would just punch all that in. Imagine what we'd get. Just imagine what we'd get. Because as you said, America, when I punched in the Celine Dion version, we were watching the Titanic, weren't we? We were right there. We were watching the Titanic and we're on the boat and we're thinking, this is so spot on. How do they do it? That's the thing that's been bugging me. How do they do it? Because once I understand how to do it, I can do it. That's the way my brain works. So, Lachelle, I have 38 versions of this song now.
That it's amazing. I love how it takes on a different form based on, the genre.
Yeah.
So it's really neat.
I've got versions all the way from the 40s to the noughties. So I've got this 40s version with a trumpet solo. I've got this 50s twangy Elvis-y type video 50s thing with twangy guitar. I've got this 60s version just straight out of a James Bond movie. And I've got a 70s disco version. I've got an 80s Belinda Carlisle meets Laura Branigan meets early Madonna version. I mean, so embarrassed by even saying that. Because imagine how angry they must be. Imagine how angry Madonna must be if she hears a song that says, hang on, that's me singing on a song I've never heard before, on a riff I've never created, and I'm not making anything out of that. How's that fair? It's really playing on me now. It's really playing on me. So I'm going to wait for a couple of months to see what the lawyers say. But separate to that, like I've seen videos on people doing this. I know people making money out of this, and you said at one stage, America, that you could see that this could be a little jingle factory, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're starting to see that. I across the different platforms today. I was on Instagram, and it's like that is a Suno product. I'm starting to see clips, and I'm starting to see reels with musical pieces that are tailored and customized lyrics. So it's definitely something that someone, if they're not doing it themselves, will be able to pay for someone to put that together.
To your point, Rochelle, this is pretty interesting. For $10, I can write 250 songs a month.
Mm.
And you might be surprised to know that I actually maxed out.
Wow.
I ran out of credits. Because yesterday we were singing a potential status quo version, which I did create yesterday. And I got a spot on status quo doing ZZ Top. Spot on, like 100% spot on. And I'm thinking, I now can do that. So I thought, okay, what does status quo sound like? What does ZZ Top do? And how do they differ? And how do I get that sound? And I did it. I got it. But it took me a couple of goes, maybe 5 goes, to get it exactly right. I've got a really good B-52s version. I've got quite a good Devo version. I've got a spot on Nirvana version. And I had to get my head around, how do they do it? And that's simply because someone, very cleverly or illegally maybe, has downloaded every song ever recorded and put it in a big vault. Right? And all the musos are thinking, hang on, I didn't agree to that. You didn't ask me about that. You didn't ask me to record my music and use it. They're not getting paid. That's where the ethics is right at the moment. Because when I actually used Shazam to actually listen to this song, it came up with a Hoodoo Guru song, which is an Australian band. And it sounds exactly the same as a Hoodoo Guru song from 1987. And I'm thinking, that's not fair. How's that fair?
So there's your litmus test. If you Shazam and it recognizes it as someone else's piece of work, you've answered your ethical question.
What I'm going to do now is go and have a listen to those songs. When I heard that little bit, I remember that little melody. Oh, geez, I've
I
heard
have a
that.
question, guys.
Yeah.
So when you set up your account and then it's showing you like you pick the topics and everything, and then they even show you some people that might fit your topic of interest. You go through that, and then they just put you on a site that says, well, you can see the people you're subscribed to at the top, and then it's saying what's on your
Yeah.
mind. So is this just like a general
Are you talking about
chat
Substack?
or
That is
Yeah,
the
you're talking
general.
about
okay?
Yeah, it is the
Yeah.
general. And the more you post, their algorithm will, similar to other platforms, will align you with other members who are interested in the genre and the subject matter that you
It's
write
very
or post
intuitive,
about.
isn't it? It's very intuitive. If you
Mhm.
like this, you might also like this.
I
You spoke
see.
about AI. Here's another guy talking about AI. You talk about diet. Here's another fitness guru who talks about diet.
Oh, I see. That's good.
It's very intuitive. It's very good. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I this is why I'm so into early majority. When I decide to join a site, I have to know that several million people have been there before me because I hate talking into a vacuum. So 50 million people now use Substack. It had 70 million visitors last month, right? So it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. Maybe it's right at the beginning. And the reason I love this discussion is I often say, what would it be like? Can you imagine? I think we even did this show. What would it be like if someone came to you in 2004 and said, I've just created this site called YouTube. You are on the tube. That's a stupid name. That's never going to work, Keith. Yeah, well, you just watch me. I'm going to create videos and put them on YouTube, and people are going to watch them. Will they? I don't think so. Nah, that's stupid. I've had conversations about this. Instagram. What's that? Well, you instantly put a, photo of yourself at a party on the internet. Oh, mate, that's a dumb idea. Instagram. Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb idea. Okay. I have had this conversation with every single site that's ever been invented. I put my sounds in the cloud. Sound cloud. Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I put my instantly put my Polaroids into a website. Who's going to do that, Keith? Who's going to put photos of themselves at a party on the internet? 3 billion people.
Well, you know what I'm listening as you're saying this. This is again reminding us about the value of simplicity, because each of these different platforms, it tells the purpose and why you're doing it and what you're doing it for. You understand it in the name,
Yeah,
right?
you're
So
LinkedIn, right?
right.
You're LinkedIn.
So
You
when
get
people understand it, it takes off better because it you don't have to explain it to a lot of people. It's not it's a easy barrier to entry because people can figure it out
yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So you're linked in to your community.
Mhm.
You're linked into your network. That makes sense. You're linked in.
Mhm. Well, I
You're
don't mean, if you think Facebook, it's like, we used to have an address book, but now you have a Facebook. It's like, you look at the faces and that this is how you remember them. So I just think, it's something to think about. I think a lot of times we just make things so complicated, and we lose the audience because they have to try to figure out what we're talking about. And so
Yeah.
that's the whole thing in itself.
Well, a very good example of this, and I'm very interested in what you think of this idea, is a site called Go Brunch. Now, if I was to say to you, there's this really cool site on the internet called Go Brunch, what would you think? Well, I've had dinner. I'm not hungry. You know,
Hmm.
what do you think? Have you used it, Shell? Have you heard of Go Brunch?
Yeah, I've actually been on somebody else's platform. I don't have an account. Um, it's definitely, it makes it catchy, but I don't know. I think it should be something like face meeting or something. I mean, that's just not what I would say, but I don't know. It just needs to be something more related to the platform or virtual or something
Yeah.
rather than food.
Yeah.
What do you think, America? When you heard of
Yeah.
the phrase Go Brunch, did you think of a virtual networking site?
No, the culinary name does throw it off.
Mhm.
Um, Now, if we're playing on words, what typically happens at a brunch? It's a place where families, friends, community come together uh, for some
Let's
lighthearted
go brunch. Let's go
conversation.
brunch.
Yeah.
But to your point, like Go Brunch and Substack started in the same year. I don't know the exact numbers, but Substack has 50 million users. The last count I got was that Go Brunch has 60,000 users. If you were going to choose one, which would you choose? You know,
Well, I
60,000.
would say it, and I think you feel more comfortable. Like if you're uncomfortable with the platform, that's a barrier to entry because there's so many people that technology is changing all the time. And so if you know that you have to start at the bottom and you're starting at the bottom of something that's hard to understand, or you have to explain it to other people, they don't give you a way to even be open-minded about it, then you're not going to stay on the platform. You're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, another very classic example is Discord.
Yeah, I have a Discord account, but I'm not on there. That's just I don't understand that platform at all.
I've
I
had
don't even want to go on it. It stresses me even thinking about it, you know?
Well, I've had. I would love to know your thoughts on this, America. But I've had friends say, "I'm not joining a site called Discord.
Yeah.
I'm not joining a site that promotes disharmony in the community.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a community, not be disharmonious,
Yeah.
discordant." Some people just have a moral objection to the name.
Well, and maybe that's what it is because I have an aversion to it. Ever since I had been on it, I was on there for a virtual business. I used to be a part of this when we were going, it was kind of like a go brunch thing, but it was more of a virtual experience. I was a speaker on a whole rollout that they had with virtual um, speakers and stuff, but a lot of our communication was through Discord. And it was just, I don't know. And maybe it was just the name. That could have been because I just could not embrace that at all.
Yeah. Did you ever try it, America? Have you got an account there?
I signed up for Discord to get to your shows,
Ah, okay.
and then you shut it down shortly after.
Yeah, I had this is my story. I mean, I have enormous trouble getting people to try new sites. So I try to meet them where they are first, and then, but if it's that like as I said, I was banned. I was banned during a show. I was banned during a show for 4 days, and people were calling me, going, "Mate, where are you?" I said, "I've been banned." "Yeah, well, how am I going to get to you?" I said, "You can't. I've just got to go somewhere else for 3 days." Well, that's a bit silly. for 3 to 4 days. I had nothing. I couldn't use LinkedIn at all. Totally banned. And I still don't even know what I did. I still don't know to this day what I did. But as a result, I've always been into Plan B. I started a Discord account. I started a Go Brunch account. I'll now start a Substack account because you can't be on one site forever because you just don't know. Are they going to ban you? Do you say something weird? Does something happen that they decide, we don't like Australians anymore? No Australians can come to our site. We don't like them. Well, that's not fair. I've done nothing. Yeah, but you're Australian and we've just decided that we don't like Australians. Okay, no worries. I can't help that. I'm not going to pretend.
Anyone visiting Cuba in the last 5
That's right.
years,
Anyone visiting Cuba
is prohibited from you.
That's that sort of thing, and it's the sort of on a whim. So, look, we've covered a lot of ground. We've covered Substack. We've covered Suno. We've covered a lot of things this week about what is going to happen. This is all in preparation mainly for my repurpose 3030. I'm getting pretty good results here. The poll that I've got so far indicates that Otter is the best, the most popular site. Do you either of you use that? Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Not heard of it?
Otter.ai.io.
Have you heard of it, Lachelle?
I've heard of Otter. Is that what you said? I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
And
So,
what was the other one you said?
well, that's the one that's leading the pack.
Yeah, I've heard of that. And I've tried it. They have I got a free trial on that. And I have a lot of clips that I got from that where you can actually take the video and it just does the clips for you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. These things take time. That's what I would say, because it's just a learning curve, right?
So
I wish you could just plug and play, but it just doesn't go that way.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take October off. I'm gonna finish I'm gonna finish the Anchor series on the 30th of September, and I'm gonna have October off. I've got to solve my internet problem. I get terrible internet here. I've got to solve that. I don't know how to do that yet, but I've got to pull apart the house and get it rewired or something. I've got to do something because I keep getting dropped out. And then I'm going to take October to research all these great sites so that I can come back and say, look, I've done some research. Otter is great. Such and such is not so great. This one's really good. This one's not bad. This one's a bit expensive. This one's awesome. And then you know that I've done the research. A bit like trying to buy a car from someone who can't drive. I'm not gonna try and sell you a car if I've never driven a car. I'm not going to try and pretend to be a LinkedIn expert if I've never used LinkedIn. It's just not my style. I'm going to use the site. I'm going to perfect the site, and then I'm going to tell you how to use it. Like I've perfected Suno. I know how to use it now. If you want to know how to do that, please call me. I'm very happy to chat about how to do it. So you've now set up an account on Substack?
Yes, I just posted my, it said what's on your mind. And then it said you can share it on LinkedIn or you can copy the link or some other options. I think email. So I just copy the link and then put it in the
Let's
show
everyone
notes here.
listening to the replay go and follow you there. And that's very, very cool. You've got a link to your Substack account. That's good. It's very easy to use. And I think as a community, we can just help each other learn these things. It's very difficult to do on your own. Like it's extremely difficult.
So true.
So I've just subscribed.
Now, how often do you go on Substack, America? Like, how often do you post, or what's your routine with this?
So anytime I'll post something or host a show, I'll repurpose it. And now, today, and even yesterday, I did it. And I think Keith touched on it. Trying to blend through multi-purposing, trying not to write so much on LinkedIn and provide a hyperlink to perhaps a blog. So it's a little bit of an experimentation right now to try to shorten my content and just focus on live streaming and events on LinkedIn, and have my written content and my community go elsewhere, Substack in this case, to read the written content. So still toying around with it to see what works best for me. I'm using it quite a bit in commenting. So yesterday's event, my co-host has been repurposing, and I'll jump in and engage in her content and drop the link. Hey, here's a link to the show, and here's a link to an article or blog that I wrote on Substack, just to see if it resonates with my community.
Yeah, it's all trial and error. So what I think I'll do is I'll do these shows from 10 till 2. They will be free to join, and I want people to come. But then the blog post will be, as time allows, a bit of a highlights reel. And as time allows, maybe as time goes on, there might be a demand for that. And that might be a way I can fund the show and buy new tech. People pay me $1 a week or something. I don't know. But I'm not going to do it yet because I haven't got that many blog posts. But it's another thing to do, but it's a very good thing to do because it's got the transcript and a link to the show. So It's a very good link to send people if they want a highlights reel, because years down the track, we won't be able to find these shows on LinkedIn. Even now, I still have trouble finding them, but I'm going to have a link to the show. So if you are interested in Substack, there's Lachelle's Substack. This is Americo's Substack, and I was lucky enough to get my own name. So there's my Substack, substack.com @KeithKellerAU. I've got about 4 articles there now. So I'm going to go and get some lunch and regroup with what's happened. I've got 2 shows a week coming until the end of September, and then I'm going to have a break. Where is Keith today? We'll tell you all about that. What I'm actually also going to do is I'm going to organize a Atlanta special edition of Clubhouse, because I know Bez loves Clubhouse. He loves it. Like, he talks about it all the time. So you and he can get together and maybe even do it in the same room.
Yeah, and Sherilyn's all about it. She asked for me to send her the link to upload the desktop and the mobile app. I've done that. So between the 5 of us, we can probably bring or reach, we know that not everyone's going to show up, but we can reach over 50, maybe even 60,000 community members and see how many show up.
Okay. With that being said, I'm going to play one last song version, but I'll probably go after this. So if you want to go, you can, because I'm just going to finish. So I've done quite a few different versions. I'm not going to play the Power Ballad version because that's the Titanic Celine Dion version. That's so accurate. I'm going to get into trouble. But what I thought I might do is I might play the original version. This is only like 4 weeks ago. I feel like it's like a history lesson. But Americo and I did a show impromptu because one of his guests didn't turn up. And I just kept hearing him saying, "Be heard, be remembered. Be heard, be seen, be remembered." And I thought, I'm going to write a song about that. This is the original song that was created by Tsuno, not me. Totally different, but from this one original idea, I've got 38 subsequent ideas using my impeccable musical knowledge. So let's end on this one, and we'll just keep it moving in the coming weeks. It's very different, and it's very this is what Tsuno came up with by itself, without prompting.
Lights are flashing, the stage is set. We ain't even started, but they won't forget. Every heartbeat pounding, every soul alive. This is the moment that we've been waiting to find. Be seen, be heard, let the world know. Be remembered, join this show. Raise your hands, feel the flow. Let's get together, let it all go. voices rising, electric fires. Feet keep moving, time stands still. We're chasing the thrill, we're bending the will. The rhythm's loud, it calls your name. This is no game, no one's the same. Be seen, be heard, let the world know. We remember, join this show. Raise your hands, feel the flow. Let's get together, let it all glow. In the dark, the fire in the rain, a million stars in the sky. Never again will we fade, will we hide? We're born to ignite, we're ablaze, we're alive, burning so bright. The rhythm spark in the dark, the fire in the rain. A million stars in the sky. Never again will we fade, will we hide? We're born to ignite, we're a flame, we're alive, burning so bright. We're a blaze, we're alive, burning so bright. We're the stars, be heard, let the world know. Be remembered, join this show. Raise your hands,